how are you guys doing? This is Lewis here with Veve, and I meant to put out this video a few weeks ago, but things got really busy. So now it's the perfect time to do it now that we're into the new year. I want to recap a little bit of like how this year went. We were, the work that we were able to do in this basically last quarter of the year. I want to talk about some of the important issues that like we were able to address, especially those concerning the Georgia's Public Service Commission. I also want to talk about some of our plans going into next year, and what we're going to be engaging the community with, and what results we're looking for in 2026. So, to get to it, first of all, we were able to get the nonprofit started up this year. Got all the admin stuff done, got everything paid for, 501c3, all of that kind of stuff. We're able to establish an initial load of canvassers and people who are supposed to be doing like really important work, like our social media, handling our direction with field operations, our program management, financial management, all that kind of stuff. We got that handled. And then we're also able to hop on board with some of our community partners and do some canvassing for the Georgia Service, the Public Service Commission elections. It always gets me saying Georgia Public Service Commission. I don't know why. It's weird. But anyway, we were able to get out and do some GOTV canvassing for that. GOTV stands for Get Out the Vote. This is when you engage with potential voters, and these are people who are registered to vote. You're engaging them about their plans to get out and vote, and maybe doing a little bit of nonpartisan voter education at the door or wherever you run into them. So we were able to get out in Valdosta for the Public Service Commission elections, but then we also were able to get out into Homerville. They had a runoff for an election for one of their judges. So we were able to also get over there and do some canvassing. In regards to the Public Service Commission, one of the big things that we kept hearing is that people did not know what the commission was, did not know what they did, any of that kind of stuff, right? So we were able to actually kind of like start from the ground level and just tell them like, hey, the commission is made of 5 people who cover 5 different districts that cover all of Georgia. And this election is for 2 of those seats, District 2 and District 3, if I remember correctly. And we were able to have wonderful conversations with folks at the doors. And a bit of the work that we did was a part of the success of people turned out to vote in surprising numbers for an off-year election. And those 2 seats, they flipped. So those new commissioners, they're going to take those seats in January. Speaking of the Public Service Commission, there has been a lot of attention on them because earlier in this year, I want to say it was July 1st, they reached a decision that they weren't going to do any rate increases for, I believe it was 3 years. It was supposed to be towards the end of 2028 that we might see more rate increases, or at least they were going to hold off on increases until the end of 2028. But there was a meeting to handle the decision about if they were going to increase rates possibly to pay for data center infrastructure. I actually ended up going up to Atlanta, left Valdosta at around 4 o'clock in the morning, got up there a little bit before 9, and was in the meeting at around 9:30 with a bunch of other concerned citizens. And a lot of people who showed up voiced their opinions and honestly presented some really compelling arguments for why this isn't a good idea. Not only is it not a good idea to raise the rates of Georgians who are already feeling the weight of an economy that is that that just doesn't feel good to participate in right now. Everything is so damn expensive, and those rate increases when it comes to those utilities, we feel those as well. So there were arguments for that, but there were also arguments for how, number one, all this speculative investment, when it comes to AI, it's quite possibly a waste of funding. Um, you might have heard a lot of people talking about the AI bubble. When we talk about the AI bubble, we're talking about the economy, as it relates to AI and the revenue coming from AI, right? Um, there are very clear signs that the economic boost that we're getting, or that some people are even seeing, because everybody's not seeing these boosts, the economic improvements that some people are seeing from AI, and the how do you say, the speculated advantages that AI will bring to our economy, they are artificially inflated, overblown, and they are not going to benefit the average American, in the way that a lot of people might be trying to sell them. There were arguments, for that. There were arguments for the health risks that, the data centers, and AI itself, pose to everyday citizens. A lot of great arguments. I would suggest going to the Public Service Commission's YouTube page. They actually record these meetings, and you'll get to hear the arguments that come from the concerned citizens. A lot of great people had a lot of great things to say. So I really do suggest that you just go over there, take a listen to what some people had to say, and then do some of your own research on that. But yeah, dealt with that. There was even some talk of a secret meeting that, a last minute meeting that the commission had with Georgia Power. And a lot of people were upset by that. I did a little bit of digging to the funding that the commissioners had for their campaigns, and I was astounded with, the commission is supposed to regulate Georgia Power, supposed to put the brakes on them. But if you look at the funding for some of their campaigns, Georgia Power has paid a lot into those campaigns. So, it's kind of like one of those things, like, how do you expect to regulate? How do I expect you to regulate in good faith? When you're getting paid by them for your campaigns. But again, that's just something I encourage you, the listener here, to do a little digging into that issue for yourself, so that you know exactly what I'm talking about, and don't just take my word for it. We're also able to start up the community dinner program this year. Basically, we partner with the South Street Care House here in Valdosta, where normally people come in on, I think it's Tuesday and Thursday, and they're able to get a care package of groceries for free. But then also, I think it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, she does small home-cooked bag lunches for people who walk up. And so now we have this program where once a month, her and I partner up, and we cook a lot of food. We cook a home-cooked meal for anyone who wants to come through and get a meal. And it is a place where people can talk about the issues that we're facing, a place where some of our community partners can come in and really hear from the citizens about like what they're experiencing firsthand, raw and unfiltered. And we can start these large dialogues about these issues, and we can really understand how strongly people are feeling about certain things. We can understand people's level of understanding on certain issues. And we can also coordinate with our communities to fight back and to get better results in some of these areas. So we've got that done. Our next community dinner is going to be on the 17th of January, and I'm finishing that up as well, and I think this one's going to be really big. So, if you're in the area, I would love to see you. Come on out. Tell me you heard it from this video. Come on out, and we can talk about some of the other stuff we got going on this year. Honestly, last thing. Okay. 2026, our plans for 2026. We are going to start, I've actually started now, we're preparing for possible hurricane season coming up at the end of the year. Normally, around the end of the year, September, October, November, we speculate that we might get hit with some of the hurricane weather. Over the past maybe 5 or so years, the hurricanes have been getting worse in this area, and so we have to prepare for that. But also alongside that, we are making a trip up to the Capitol with some of our community partners for Environmental Justice Day, where we get to talk with some of the leaders of the state, like our legislators, about climate control policies, and about what we're going to do to protect our communities against climate abuses. We're also working this year. We do have another Public Service Commission election at the end of the year. I believe it'll be I think it's seat 3 and 4, but really double check me on that because it's been a minute since I checked it. But I know that one of the seats that was up in this last election is up again. It was a really strange situation. The last election got postponed. It was held up, and so they had the election with the understanding that I think it was that third district seat would be that term would be first a year term, and then there'd be the 2026 election in which it would be up again. So I guess it's actually really good for us because we get to see if the guy who won the seat, if he's able to actually make a difference and walk the walk with the good talk he had. We've got that climate justice. We've got the Public Service Commission elections. We got midterms coming up, I believe, at the end of 2026. So that's going to keep us very busy. We'll probably be out getting some folks registered to vote. We'll be starting a lot of powerful conversations. We'll be making some plans to vote, or as honestly as early as the summer. People have got to get out and vote. There's a lot of folks that are hurting, and the only way that stops is if we can get people who represent us better. So I look forward to hearing from everyone and seeing you as we do this work through the year. And thank you for listening. Please continue to watch here how I made the turkey and dumplings for this event. I think this video really just covers how I cooked all that turkey. I think I got done cooking that at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I just stayed and powered through it so that I knew that I'd have everything done on time. But thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Y'all know the normal YouTube stuff. Please do the like and the subscribe, and please share these videos. I want to really try to fund this nonprofit in an unconventional way. Instead of us, solely waiting for big funders to get us money to get out here and do this work and serve our community. I actually want to see if it's possible to monetize our social media, monetize our YouTube, our Instagram, get up on Patreon, that kind of stuff, and get this work funded so that we are beholden to the people we serve, the communities we serve here throughout South Georgia, instead of everyone else. So thanks. Have a nice day.